providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Oh, good day. That's what I'll just say.
Good day.
Good day, all. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing. Thanks for being here. If it is your first time joining us, you might want to know that Caregiver Crossing is a show brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates, and we're here every week to discuss all things caregiving. I am Tina McIntosh.
I am Noah Taylor.
Noah, it is World Kindness Week.
I have been waiting for this week all year.
You are not serious. You don't even know what it is, do you?
No, I don't, but I'm excited to learn.
Actually, I'm just learning about it too, but I love it. The concept, kindness for a week, yes, count us all in. We all need a little kindness in this world.
Especially caregivers.
Oh, my goodness. And so Kindness Week did come about after there were several humanitarian groups, we'll call them. They came together November 13th of 1997. They made a declaration of kindness. We declare there will be kindness in this world on this very day. It went something like that. That's not verbatim. But what started as Kindness Day turned into Kindness Week, and we are here to celebrate that. It is where everyone is encouraged to make a similar declaration of kindness and charity. I read clarity.
Could be
Noah,
clarity, too. Clarity of kindness.
I need a nap.
Yeah, maybe.
So, kindness. If you were to describe kindness to a small child, what would you tell them?
Wow, kindness to a small child. I'd say it's maybe doing a little extra step of care for your loved ones.
Okay.
Maybe going above and beyond for being not. I'm going to say going extra above and beyond in being nice.
Being nice. That's what I actually think my 4-year-old niece just had. They just studied kindness. I think that was the word she told me. We were talking about what that means and, talking about petting the dog, inviting a friend over, we were talking, 4-year-old things.
Yeah.
And so I think for those of us who are over the age of 4, it does teach us to be kind, right? We get so caught up in our lives and forget to take a moment to think about others sometimes, that doing something good for others can be good for us too. People forget that when you give kindness, how much it actually, I don't know, is it a dopamine or whatever it is, something
One of
happens,
the dopamine,
right?
Serotonin, maybe a little bit of all of it.
It also, if you participate in this Kindness Week intentionally, it helps remind you that you're not alone. We talk about loneliness a lot on Caregiver Crossing, and you are absolutely not alone. And I would say when you feel alone, if you do something kind for somebody else, it is a reminder. So I like that point.
Oh, absolutely. I feel so good about myself, too, doing something kind for others.
So can I tell you something I didn't do the other day that I don't feel good about? And I'm not proud, and yet here I'm going to share it on this radio show.
Please share.
I don't think I've shared it with you yet. So I was at a grocery store. Stop me. I just won't tell everybody else.
Stop. No.
I was at a grocery store not too long ago, and I didn't have much time. I had 25 minutes to get in and buy for 8 people who live in my home, and then I had to be in a meeting. So I was rush. And they only had self-checkout lines. It was the middle of the day, and they only had self-checkout lines, which I found upsetting. I wasn't angry, but I was oh no, because I had dog food and cat food and big things, right? I had $300 worth of groceries. It was a haul.
Big cart, yeah.
And so a guy that worked there came over, cashier, we will call him, and said, hey, I'll take you on 6. And I was like, cool. So I went over to 6. And then a woman jumped in line behind me, and he said, that's it. I'm not taking anybody else after you. And so we were just, small talk as you do with people in line. And then an older gentleman came up behind the woman behind me. So me, a woman, and then an older gentleman. And he was quite aged. And he said to the cashier, are there any other lanes then that are not self-checkout? I don't do self-checkout. And the cashier said, not my problem. You're going to have to do it today. And the gentleman said, I don't do self-checkout. And the guy repeated, not my problem. I was a little shocked. I mean, not a little. I was shocked at the way it was so aggressive, the way he said it. And Noah, I could cry telling you this, because I was so self-centered at that moment, and I only had a limited amount of time. Instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to be late for my meeting and then getting done and going to help that gentleman, I watched as he abandoned his cart. I do not feel like a good person. It has haunted me. Oh, it makes me want to cry. It was a month ago. I've thought about him so many times a week. That was not kind of me.
Well, Tina, I think I think it tells a lot that you're still thinking about this a month after. I can obviously tell that this is you're just such a kind person that this is something you're getting a little bit worked up about. But, that is the
It's
point
making
of
me
this.
cry. I mean, thank you, but I didn't. So to myself, I would say do better.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe that's the point of this week, too. So
Right?
we can think about all those things in the past. And it's a reminder to ourselves that this week we need to be a little bit extra kind to others.
Thank you for your kindness.
Well, thank you for your kindness.
I'm going to wipe away these tears. What are some things that we can do to be kind? Give us a few.
Oh, man. I'll start this out and say we can write notes of kindness on small pieces of paper and stick them in random library books. How cute would that be if you're just at the library,
that.
you open a random book and it's like you're somebody's reason to smile. That would be really lovely. Another one we have here is to hand out notes of encouragement wherever you go. Grocery store, coffee shop. How good does it feel to get a compliment from a random person?
Yes.
All the time. Offer to do an errand for someone, like walking their dog or maybe helping grocery shop for them. Cook dinner for a friend. And even cook dinner at your house and bring it to them so they don't have to do dishes. And then lastly here, we have give notes of appreciation to family, coworkers, and especially service providers.
I love that. Something we used to do at Joy's house is we had all these scarves somebody had made and donated, and we tied a nice note on them, and we left them on a cold winter's day, left them around at different places with a note of like, I see you and I appreciate you. Love, your friends at Joy's house with our website.
Wow, I really love that.
Yeah. So thanks for letting me have a moment. I just, we can always all do better. And so for caregivers, World Kindness Week, it's this powerful reminder of the support and compassion that's around you. And so sometimes you have to look for it and sometimes you have to give it. And it offers a chance to receive those small acts of appreciation and to share kindness in ways that lift everyone's spirits. And so we know that sometimes you feel like you're alone. We want you to know you're not. It's these simple gestures, whether giving or receiving, that can make all the difference. And so World Kindness Week, we are absolutely here for it. If you want to hear past episodes of the show, you can go to caregivercrossingradio.org or follow us on Facebook. Go to Joy's House website. You'll find us. And if you have anything you want to hear us talk about in the future on the show, or guests you think would be really great, if you want to yell at me for having my moment of not so kindness, you can email me at tina@joyshouse.org. And I think for now, that's it. Do your world kindness thing.
Be kind.
Be kind to people. Smile at somebody. Eye contact and smile makes a big difference too.
It really does.
I know we're going to have to take a break here. We've got some special people that we want to thank, and then we've got a big guest coming up here in a few minutes. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got the Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan President with us.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joy's House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joy's House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joyshouse.org today. That web address again is joyshouse.org. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina McIntosh. I'm in studio with our producer, the one and only Noah Taylor.
Hello.
Oh, you got so serious when I said that.
Yeah, the one and only. That felt really good.
You're right,
That
right?
felt good.
That's big. I told you we have a really great guest with us, and I wouldn't lie to you. So we were talking on the break. She's lovely, and she's doing really great work here in Indiana. And so we're thrilled to welcome Lynn Scott to Caregiver Crossing today. I'm going to tell you who she is, but I'm just going to say hi.
Hi.
That's Lynn Scott, you guys. I mean, this is a big thing. So she's the president of Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan. I'm going to say it again, Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan. And she is just a really great leader. She prioritizes both caring and compassion in her work, and she understands the challenges that are faced by caregivers. I'm hoping she'll talk with us a little bit about that. And how hard it is and how hard it doesn't have to be for families navigating the healthcare system. And so with all of her experience and her empathetic approach, she champions accessible healthcare and strives to support caregivers with the tools and resources they need to be empowered and informed. And boy, don't we need that. So Lynn, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh. Well, Tina, thank you. You made me sound so good.
You are. We only speak the truth here. And so congratulations on your role. You just came into this role on what date?
It's been 2 months.
2 whole months.
Yes.
Oh, and let's just point out that Lynn came into the role as I want to get it right, the president of Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan right after we rolled out pathways for aging in Indiana.
Yes. But I will tell you, that's part of the reason I'm here.
So you said in between, we were talking and you said that you have always said that if you had an opportunity to do a job like this, you would.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And why is that? Because this is not a job everybody wants. I guess we should explain what the job is. Let's do that first.
Yes. Okay. So I lead, all the great folks at Anthem. We partner with the state to provide Medicaid benefits, right? So individuals, either based on age, disability, income, who are eligible for health care through the state's program, funded by the state. You mentioned Pathways. Pathways was launched this year specifically for people age 60 and over, right? So we'll talk about that, but a whole host of services, in addition to health benefits, goes along with Pathways.
I mean, what you are leading is impacting and changing lives for people over the age of 60 and their caregivers across the state of Indiana.
Yes, and that is a nuance that is unique to Pathways, the fact that we are caring for the whole person. So yes, the individual who has Medicaid benefits gets care, they get additional services, but we're also including their caregiver.
Yeah. So I can't imagine you're a little girl and people are like, so Lynn, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, I want to run Medicaid.
Exactly. Well, I spent nearly 14 years at another national health insurance company building what is their government businesses, right? So that includes Medicare, which is for people age 65 and over. It included Medicaid. It included federal plans for the employees of the federal government, as well as labor unions, right? So cities, counties, states, right? Lots of unions.
So much.
Yes.
I mean, so many people.
So many people, but also really building, an entity focused on providing benefits for those individuals and those entities. So I did that for a long time. I actually learned how to what we call do procurement, right? That's when the state puts out a bid, right, and asks insurance companies, right, to provide a quote for the business. And I actually learned how to do that very early in my career on Medicaid business. But I never had the opportunity to actually run a plan. And so I always said, after interacting with all of those unions and the states and cities, that if I had the opportunity to go work in Medicaid, I would jump at it because it's really where you can make a difference, right?
Yeah. You're steering the ship.
Really.
I mean, thank you. Thank you for wanting to do that. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being here in Indiana and for being with us on Caregiver Crossing. Again, you're hearing the voice of Lynn Scott, who is the president of Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan. It is a big role. And, Pathways of Indiana got rolled out July 1st, so not very long ago. And it's doing incredible work for people. It's also been really tough. We know that. We've talked about this on the show. We had your coworker, Dustin Ziegler, in, and we talked about it. It's not a secret, and yet the great work continues.
Oh, of course.
And, all of you the people at Anthem, by the way, are fantastic.
Yes, they
it
are.
gives me feelings. They are individual humans. Our friend Ellen's behind you over your shoulder. I can see her. They're just great people, right? They're Ellens and they're Dustins and they're other people who are really wanting to make a difference for people 60 and over who rely on Medicaid. So let's talk a little bit about the plans, right? How does it benefit somebody? How does Medicaid through Anthem benefit someone?
Yes. So I just have to take this opportunity to say and reiterate, because the people are wonderful, The Hoosiers at Anthem are wonderful, right? It's about Hoosiers serving Hoosiers. So I just want to say thank you to all of them, because it wasn't about, it is not, and continues to not be about Lynn. It's about all of those people at Anthem providing, right, and trying to serve the community that we all live and work in.
Well, so I'm going to pause you for a second. Yes to that. And it can be both. Yes, and it takes somebody who others want to follow and be a part of making a change. And I can already tell by your spirit you're that person. And so you've got a great team there.
I do.
You really do. So if I'm on Medicaid,
yes,
what is it that I can do through that program? What can I receive?
Well, just like each of us who go to work every day, right? And our employers might offer us benefits to, from a health perspective, to get work that we might need to get worked, get well visits, sick visits, visits for your children, right? So the benefits component, right, is included in Medicaid, right? And that's the core of the program. However, we go the step further at Anthem in two ways. One, we consider ourselves very much strategic partners to the state. It's our objective to be their best partner if we can, and to be present and very active and engaged in the community, right? And trying to figure out beyond healthcare, right, what else do people need? Now, the really unique and cool thing about Indiana and the state is that they fought long and hard to implement a pathways program, right, for people age 60 and over to broaden the scope of services, so much so that people who require individual care and outreach are receiving that. We have an entire team at Anthem of care coordinators, service coordinators who are actually going out to see, feel, touch, right, individuals who are on Medicaid and might require services beyond just going to the doctor, right, or going to a facility. If someone needs access to food, or they need a ramp in their home, or they need transportation just to get to their doctor's visits. Well, those kinds of benefits are included.
The thing that I love about that is it is really, you said, people helping people, Hoosiers helping Hoosiers. And so what I want to encourage you is that if you haven't done this yet and you are listening and you've got a loved one or you yourself are on Medicaid and you're working with Anthem, work with your care coordinator. He or she cannot help you if they don't know everything that you need. And I know it's hard as caregivers. Sometimes you're like, how do I know what I need? But you've got to be able to be open and vulnerable and have a conversation because you can hear it in Lynn's voice. Like they want to be helpful. They can't do that if they don't know what that is. And so we're going to ask Lynn to stick around for another segment. We've got to take a break. But when we come back, I want to talk with you, Lynn, about why this is so personally important to you too. I know you've had a big couple of years and you said you're willing. So we want to talk about personally how this has affected you as well.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. That web address again is joycehouse.org. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Again, I'm Tina McIntosh in studio with our producer, Noah.
Hello.
I didn't say your last name. I threw you off, didn't
Taylor.
I?
It's
Noah
Taylor.
Noah Taylor. We have with us Lynn Scott, who it is worth saying again is the Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan President. And we are so happy to have her in the role and to have her in Indiana. She comes with a wealth of professional knowledge. Lynn, I want to pause for just a second here because it is November. It is National Caregiver Month. It's a federal, recognition of caregiving. And not only are you professionally qualified in doing the thing that needs to be done in Indiana with Medicaid through your work at Anthem, you personally understand what it means to be a caregiver for somebody you love.
Oh, absolutely.
Are
Absolutely.
you okay to share a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I had the good fortune of having the ability to make a choice and be a full-time caregiver. I almost lost a loved one in my arms, right? And so a journey began, a month in the hospital, multiple procedures, the best surgical team around. I was living in Florida at the time. And the head surgeon came to me and said, okay, we've got a high probability of success, right? If we do X, Y, and Z. However, that success is really dependent on the care, right, at home, and not nurses and professionals. It's about the tribe, right, and the care of the family, right, to help the individual through it. So I rolled up my sleeves. I started inpatient therapy, learning how to take vitals and do all of the things, right, as they say here in Indiana, all of the things, to care for, right, someone near and dear to me. And so the journey began. Inpatient therapy to at-home therapy, 5 days a week, nurses, therapists in home 5 days. I got an earful from them. I got to know them very well for several months. And then we moved to outpatient therapy. So the journey was 12 months, right, to recovery. I'm fortunate, right? We had a success story, right? We had that. But for those 12 months, I will tell you, I was focused on the patient, right? What equipment did we have in home? Oh, by the way, when they release you from the hospital, they don't tell you, they don't send you home with a list and say, this is what you need.
Lynn, please, I say this all the time. So the hospital, yes, I've been through, my own journey. The most recent one, they were like, here's the physical therapy form. Do these exercises. Your prescriptions have been called into Meijer, and you, Tina, as the caregiver, which I think they didn't even say caregiver, they call me something else. And then they said, like, take good care of yourself.
Take
all
good
right,
care
they're
of
coming
yourself.
to get you to take you out to the car. And I was like, I'm a professional. Like, I'm an expert. I can do this, right? But you're right. It doesn't matter who you are and what your title is, right? You're now, this is you. Here are your paperwork. Go home.
Here you go.
Maybe a gate belt. Maybe they gave you a gate belt.
And I made a little stink. I'm like, can I at least have a walker to take home with my patient? Right?
Yeah.
And I'm on Amazon ordering stuff,
Yes.
right, for the shower. And I will tell you, right, and it's part of the reason why I'm so passionate around this. A month later, another insurance company, to remain nameless, called and said, hey, you're eligible for all this stuff. I'm like, too late. I already got the stuff. Right?
A month later.
A month later.
1,000 years when
later.
you're caring for somebody you love.
So after several months of doing the caregiving, the benefit coordination, the claim coordination, right? Not a single claim was, processed incorrectly. So when people complain about, right, how we're doing, I'm like, you haven't seen anything, right?
Yes.
But all of that fueled my perspective and my passion. I said, if I'm going back to work, I'm going back someplace where I can actually make a difference, right? And in that 12 months, did I not once seek out any help for myself? So I won't tell you how many days because I'm embarrassed. There were many days that I didn't even get a shower. 4 hours of sleep a night for 12 months, right? And so when it was time for me to go back to work, my tribe was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. You need to recover, right? Because I didn't even think that there would be any services out there for me, let alone community for me, right? And so that's the beauty. We have this wonderful partnership with Caregiver Way and other partners in
thanks.
community.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. There are services, there's community out there for people who are giving care. You don't have to be alone.
That's right. And I think we talk about it a lot on the show. Part of the problem is people don't self-identify. And so again, that's where I'm saying you as a listener, be honest with your therapist, be honest with your doctor, be honest in the emergency room, be honest, with your care coordinator at Anthem or wherever you are, because they can most likely link you to resources. But if they don't know your situation and your needs, they cannot help you.
Absolutely. And I knew I was a caregiver, and I still, my friends are calling, what do you need? I'm like, I don't know what I need. And I'm someone who spent 14 years in health insurance. I didn't know what I needed. And I'm, of course, one of those people that doesn't typically ask for help. I've gotten way better at that now after these last couple of years.
Well, you learned, right? You learned that without your tribe, you weren't going to make it. And so you are hearing the voice of Lynn Scott, who is the Anthem Indiana Medicaid Plan president. And what I want to pause and just make sure we're all on the same page here. She gets it, you guys. Like, she really, really gets it. And she is leading Anthem when it comes to this area of care. And so we're really, really grateful. If somebody maybe isn't happy with their current provider, or they're trying to learn more, how can they Google something? Like, how do they get in touch with you all at Anthem? Not you personally necessarily, but a good care coordinator, somebody that can help them navigate.
I mean, the Indiana Pathways program, right, is available through Anthem. You can Google, Bing, whatever, Indiana Pathways for Aging, right, to locate us at Anthem, right? There are 2 other managed care organizations as well that are partnered with the state. Not promoting them, but, right, we're all in this together. But you can find resources. We have an entire department dedicated solely to caregiving at Anthem.
Indiana Pathways of Aging, and you can find Anthem there. And one last question, and we're going to have to go. We have 1 minute, but as we celebrate this National Caregiver Month, is there any kind of message that you would want to share or honor, something for caregivers? Anything that you would say?
I would say not just take care of yourself, but honor yourself. Figure out who you can find, friend, partner, neighbor, community, whether it's through Pathways or elsewhere. But find a place, a safe space, someplace to go yell, scream, right? But figure out what you need. I know it's hard. I was the worst. I did not know what I needed. But figure out, first of all, recognize that you need the help. And then there's a number of places to go, a number of vehicles. Anthem is one of those. The state is one of those. Caregiver Way is one of those. I mean, there are a lot of resources out there. It can be overwhelming, but just make the outreach.
Yeah, and you mentioned Caregiver Way. I would probably be remiss if I didn't say we're so happy to be partnered with Anthem to offer Caregiver Way, which is the platform that we created at Joy's House for family caregivers. And so talk with your care coordinator at Anthem. It's a benefit for you. You can go to visitcaregiverway.com to learn more about that. And we're just grateful, Lynn, for you, for Anthem, for everything you all are doing. And so thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit caregivercrossingradio.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Joining me today are your co-hosts.
Who are you?
I'm the producer. I'm Noah Taylor. I'm not a co-host.
But Noah keeps us in line with everything.
Takes care of everything.
Well, I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Stacy.
Hello.
Hi.
So, for our last segment today, we have some questionnaires from our listeners.
Mailbag. Mailbag.
Ooh, mailbag.
I like when you do that.
Thank you.
Can you do it again? One more time?
Mailbag.
Oh, okay.
Let's just let everybody know you can get your questions answered too. And you do that by sending Tina Bina a question.
Absolutely.
Email me,
Yes.
tina@joyshouse.org.
Yeah,
please.
Tina.
Wherever you are. I'd like to hear from y'all in Illinois. How you're enjoying the show.
Oh, yeah.
What topics are important to you. Send it to Tina.
tina@joyshouse.org.
Yep.
What do we have in the mailbag today?
Well, first up, we have a question from a listener named Kara. She wants to know, what are some engaging activities I can do with my loved one to keep them mentally and physically active?
Horseback riding.
Sounds fun to me.
Engaging activities that you can do with your loved one to keep them physically and mentally, active? All right, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to say something here. Ready?
Ready.
Don't do everything for them. I know that's not an activity, like a planned activity, but stop doing everything for your loved one. Oh, you want that? Terry was eating Ricola earlier. You want that? Let me open that for you, Terry.
Right.
Oh, no, wait, you dropped that on the floor. Let me pick it up for you.
Right.
You want the blinds open? Let me open that for you. Stop doing everything. If your loved one can still do some of these things, let them do it. It's good for them. The dexterity to open, wrappers and to place things on a counter. It's really important that we let them continue doing things. I actually recently, my mother-in-law lives with us, and she is the sweetest woman you're ever going to meet. She is now, I think, 76. Everybody wants to do everything for her. And we go to softball games. And so she and I will ride together in softball games. And, everybody, they see us getting in the back, and she's not frail and elderly. I mean, she's an active 78-year-old woman. Oh, let me carry that for you, Nana. Let me get that for you.
It's insulting.
Well, I said to her,
I think it might be insulting for some. It would be insulting for me as I get older. People try to do things for me too. I mean, I'm there. Can I carry this for you? Let me help you carry this. A lot of that comes around, and it's. I know you mean well, but I'm okay.
But what if we switch it to this? Hey, Nana, if you need any help carrying that chair, let me know.
Good.
And that's what I told her. I'm not going to just do everything for you, because then you will stop doing it and we will see a decline.
That's it.
Right?
That's
so
it.
I know that's a little bit of a different twist, Kara, on the answer to your question, but I think we are so prone to do all the things for other people and just encourage them.
I think that's a fantastic answer.
Yeah,
including bending over.
Oh, yeah.
You drop something, you bend over to pick it up. That's going to tell a whole story. If I'm wobbly when I bend over, you're going to know my balance is off, or I'm getting dizzy or whatever. So,
but if you want to do, like the mentally and the mentally things, and you want to be a part of that, I think she wants to be a part of that too. I mean, maybe that's puzzles. Maybe
oh my goodness,
just come and do these fun things like that.
It's helping set the table for dinner.
Right.
It's letting the dogs out. It's doing the everyday things are really, really important. So, all right,
mentally and physically.
Mailbag.
And
Next.
our next question is from a listener named Nancy. She'd like to know, what are some tips for making my home safer for my loved one who has mobility issues or is maybe a fall risk?
Making your home safer for a loved one who has some kind of a mobility issue or might be a fall risk. So there are some basic ones we hear all the time. What do you think the first thing that people always say is?
It's remove rugs.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Take the rugs away.
Yep.
No rugs.
Now, we all, you've heard it 1,000 times, remove the rugs. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever had a mobility issue, remember I shattered my ankle and had surgery?
Oh, yeah.
Tripped on a stupid rug. I tripped on a stupid rug. Because why? I didn't remove the rug.
Well,
so that is important. Also, I would say lighting is a huge thing. If we can't see, that causes problems, but it's lighting where you place it. Nowadays, you can get those that, are battery operated and you stick on a wall. So you can't use the excuse of, I don't have, power run to that area.
True.
The stairs are super important. If nothing else, light at the top and the bottom of the stairs, the bathroom, because we're all getting up, maybe a little light in the bedroom or the hallway. So lighting up the house is really, really important too. This isn't necessarily making it more accessible, but I highly recommend alarm systems. You all sleep better when you can put an alarm system on, and whether it's motion detected or it's just the doors opening, helps give us some peace. Of course, the grab bars, the stair lifts, don't play in them. They're not toys, although they look fun.
they sure do. They do.
Ramps, but it's other things too, like if you have a dresser and it's too high for your loved one, maybe who now uses a wheelchair, lower the dresser. Get a lower dresser. Make sure that they can tell you what they can and can't reach too. If they're able to tell you, use their voice and listen to them. So does that help?
I think that's incredible. Thank you, listeners, for asking these questions again. Our next question is from a listener named Ruby. She would like to know, how can I help my loved one deal with their own emotions about needing care?
Okay. I'm going to go back to last week's show. We had Dr. Monique Nugent on, a hospitalist out of Boston. And we asked the question about how doctors could learn more about the patients. And we had a conversation about listening. I said, is it as simple as them being able to take the time to listen? And she said, listen and believe them. And that has stuck with me. So talk with them. Don't be afraid to talk with them. I'm going through this with somebody in my life right now, and we're talking about, do you fight the disease that you've just been given a diagnosis for, or do you let it take over and you succumb to it? There's not a wrong answer. But what do I want for this person? I want this person to fight, right? Work out and fight through this diagnosis and take all the meds. And if this person doesn't want to do that, but instead just says, no, I think I'm just done, I can't project what it is that I want. And so I think it's really important that we have conversations. We're not afraid to have them, and we listen and believe them. All right, last one. I know we have to go after that.
All right, we've got one more question from our listener. How can I stay organized with my loved one's medical appointments and medication schedule?
Oh, I can answer that in 8 seconds.
Yep.
Get a therapist? No, I'm kidding. Go to visit caregiverway.org. We've got forms on there that can help you to keep everything organized. Visit caregiverway.org. It is a Joy's House service. Or email me, again, tina@joyshouse.org, and I can connect you. Before we go, I'll just take over. I mean, talking a lot, but we do want to thank our friends at Cardon and Associates. They have over 20 communities owned, operated, and managed in the Midwest with over 40 years of senior living experience. And they provide residents with the best senior living options and personalized care. Cardon and Associates. Well, until next week, we are Caregiver Crossing. We love you guys. Until next time, take good care of each other.